Hey there, little explorers. Do you ever wish that you could be brave like a hero from your favorite story? Well, today we're going to meet a boy named Joshua who was very brave indeed, and we will hear about the amazing way he helped his people take back their home. It's a story that has been told for thousands of years, and it is one of my favorites. So let's jump right in. Joshua was a young boy when the great leader Moses led the people of Israel out of slavery in Egypt. After 40 years of wandering in the desert, Moses was not allowed to lead the people into the land of promise. God said that it was because he had not trusted God enough during all those years. But God chose Joshua to be the new leader. He told Joshua, "Be strong and courageous, for this is your reward. For you shall divide this land to the Israelites according to my words. Be strong and very courageous." Those were very big shoes to fill. But Joshua had faith in God, and he knew that God would help him. When Joshua and the Israelites got to the land of Canaan, they met some kings who ruled over it. They were very mean and would not let the Israelites take back their home. So God told Joshua to march around the city walls of Jericho 7 times with his army. He told them to stay silent until they finished marching. But on the 7th day, they were to shout loudly. Then the walls of Jericho would fall down and the Israelite soldiers could take the city. There was one thing that made this plan seem impossible, though. The walls of Jericho were very tall and strong. They looked like this. The soldiers had tried to build a wall just like that when they lived in the land of Goshen before they wandered in the desert. But their wall-building skills had gotten rusty after 40 years of living in tents. And besides, the walls of Jericho were very tall and wide. They seemed almost magical in their strengths. They were so strong that no one would even try to scale them or break them down. These 6 stone walls were considered invincible. There was no way that shouting could bring them tumbling down, or so everyone thought. But God had a plan. The first 6 days went by without any problems. Each day, Joshua gathered the people together and reminded them of what God had said. The people marched around the walls every day, but no one shouted until the 7th day. On the last day, when the time came to shout, there was one person who didn't join in. That person was Rahab, a prostitute who lived near the top of the walls. She had heard about God and what he had done for the Israelites. She had watched them in the desert, how they were able to cross the Red Sea when Moses lifted up his staff. She knew that God was powerful and she believed in him. She had put her trust in God and in his promises. When she saw the Israelites come to Jericho, she knew that God was going to help them take back their home. So one day while the Israelites were marching around the walls, she hung a red rope out of her window. She had seen the red, how it meant freedom and God's protection. She wanted everyone in the city to know that she believed in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. One of the spies that Joshua had sent to Jericho had stayed in her house, and he had told her about everything that God had done for the Israelites. She knew that God was powerful and she believed in him. She had put her trust in God and in his promises. When she saw the Israelites come to Jericho, she knew that God was going to help them take back their home. When the Israelites came to Jericho, she hung a red rope out of her window. She had seen the red, how it meant freedom and God's protection. She wanted everyone in the city to know that she believed in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. One of the spies that Joshua had sent to Jericho had stayed in her house, and he had told her about everything that God had done for the Israelites. One day, a soldier from Jericho noticed the red rope. He asked her why she was flying that color. She explained her face to him, and at the end of the conversation, she gave him something very important. She gave him the oaths of the cities, which promised that she and her family would be spared if the Israelites captured Jericho. She wrote down this oath on a piece of papyrus and sealed it with a red dye from the rope. Here is what it said. This is a copy of the oath which Rahab, the daughter of Salmon, made with the spies when they came into Jericho and made a treaty with them, promising life to herself, her father's household, and all that belonged to them. She made it in the form of an oath. This is what you shall do to save us. When we come into the city, we shall shut the doors of the city against the Israelites. And behold, when they come after us, we shall know that you have dealt well with us. And this shall be a sign to us that we are to be saved. And this is the sign, the red cord which shall hang in the window. And whoever enters into your gate after you shall find favor. And whoever goes out from your gates and sees the cord of scarlet hanging in the window shall be saved from death. Thus shall you treat the old men, the women, the children, and such as are not in the field. And the city is open before you. You shall plunder no more violently. Any man or woman who is slain with the edge of the sword in the city shall be your prey. And then it happened just as God had said. As soon as the Israelites shouted, the walls fell down. Everyone in Jericho was killed except for Rahab and her family because she had put her trust in God. Rahab and her family were able to leave the city with all of their belongings because of the oath that Joshua had made with her. That night, Joshua called all of the people together. He praised God for helping them take back their home. He reminded the people that God had helped them every step of the way since they left Egypt. He told them that the only reason that they were able to be free was because they put their trust in God. He encouraged the people to continue putting their trust in God, to keep His laws and commandments, and to love Him always. When the people woke up in the morning, they started taking stuff from the city that the Lord had given them. Some of the things that they took were food, gold, silver, clothing, jewelry, and other valuable things. When they did this, they kept one thing in mind. God had given them this stuff, so they should use it wisely. They were to use these treasures to build a place where they could worship God and remember what He had done for them. After taking what they needed, the people destroyed the city. They poured out the contents of the treasury into the valley, and they burned the city with fire. Then the people left Jericho and continued on their journey to take back the rest of the land that God had promised to their ancestors. As you can tell, Joshua was a very brave hero. Just like him, we can be brave when we put our trust in God. No matter what scary situations we might be in, Joshua and the Israelites faced many giants and battles as they took back the land of Canaan. In each situation, Joshua reminded the people that God was with them. He reminded them to be strong and courageous, because God would help them, and God did help them. He helped them cross the river Jordan and defeat their enemies. He gave them rest after 40 years of wandering in the desert. I think that Joshua was a good role model for being brave, even when things seemed impossible, like when they had to march around the city walls for 6 days without shouting. Joshua reminded the people to keep their trust in God, and God helped them when they finally shouted. Well, that brings us to the end of our time today. Thanks for joining me. Remember, when you put your trust in God, He will help you be brave. See you next time.